Well, and with that, we are able to proceed to sentencing. The written plea offer from the city attorney's office from Allegan just indicated probation was standard condition. They were recommending no jail as part of the probationary term, and they were waiving their presence at your sentencing. So with that, Mr. Van Dam, this is your chance to tell me anything you'd like to for your sentencing as well.
Just that I definitely regret some of my actions and I'm actively working at changing. I'm attending meetings and finding them helpful and wish to comply with anything that is asked of me.
Well, what happened here? It looks like you live up in Holland. Looks like you were drinking all day here in the city of Allegan, trying to get home from Allegan all the way up to Holland. Police were given calls by other motorists that you were all over the road, and here you were driving with a blood alcohol nearly 3 times the legal limit. So were you at some kind of a Christmas event or what?
No, and it was not the time was not all day, about 4 hours.
Well, I'm looking at your own substance abuse assessment. It said you started drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. Is that accurate?
Uh, yes, late morning, 10 to mid-afternoon. Okay, sure. I mean, that is
Well,
accurate. That is accurate.
sir, I'm going by what you provided to me for purposes of sentencing, the substance abuse assessment you had done through the Michigan Assessment Services. They indicate on the date of this offense, you had consumed 8 or 9 12-ounce beers, 2 of which were higher alcohol content, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. That's what you told the people at Michigan Assessment Services. Is that accurate or not?
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to determine. Why you were drinking starting at 10 o'clock in the morning here in the city of Allegan, and you've got no connection to this county because you live up in Ottawa County.
Yes, I had to meet somebody in Allegan. I live in Holland, yes.
Okay. Well, again, 2 concerns I have. Number one, this is the second time around for you. The next is your blood alcohol was 3 times the legal limit, and you were trying to get a long way driving wise with that blood alcohol from the city of Allegan up to Holland. So, Mr. Caldwell, on behalf of your client for purposes of sentencing.
Your Honor, he did complete the evaluation, which recommended 6 to 8 hours of continued education. He completed a 1.5-hour victim impact panel, as well as a 4-hour highway safety seminar. Additionally, I have a verification that he has been attending AA online. It looks like pretty much almost every other day. He is gainfully employed. He's an electrician. He's been at that job for the last 3.5 years. Father, husband, has a 14-year-old and a stepchild as well. We would ask that if you were to impose something in addition to probation, that it be more consistent with a alcohol monitoring device in lieu of any jail, Your Honor.
Well, again, the materials I have in the court file first show Mr. Van Dam went through this all before up in Ottawa County, was convicted according to the printout I have on the charge of operating while intoxicated out of the Holland District Court in November of 2017. And for most people, that would have been such a horrible experience that they would have thought twice about doing any type of driving after drinking. Mr. Van Dam, on the other hand, came down here to Allegan. I still not understanding why, but for some reason was drinking all day during the daytime. Tried to get back to Holland apparently. Was all over the road to the point where other motorists noticed it and called that into the police. The police found him, arrested him approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Blood alcohol level at that time was just under 3 times the legal limit at a 0.23, which is roughly the consistent alcohol amount of, at least with standard alcohol servings, of about 11 to 12 beers. In any event, he sounds like he was drinking some higher octane stuff, which might explain that as well. But in any event, he was up at a super drunk driving level. And that's why the city attorney did not reduce this, because this charge actually was undercharged by the officer in the first place. It's your second offense, Mr. Van Dam. I'm sure Mr. Caldwell has told you, your third time in your lifetime is a felony. And again, my concerns are this all happened after a first offense, and given your high blood alcohol level and the fact you had a long way to drive with it, that you are potentially a public safety risk, which is evidenced by the fact that the public called us in to the police, being concerned about your driving. The charge of operating while intoxicated as a repeat offender, I'm going to place you on probation for a period of 1 year. That will be with substance abuse counseling as directed by the probation department. Standard condition of probation: do not possess or consume any alcohol, marijuana, or controlled substances other than those prescribed to you by a medical professional. They will have the authority to check you for that here at the probation department, have you checked by the police at your home, and for the reasons as already stated on the record, specifically your extremely high blood alcohol content here, I am going to order physical monitoring for the first 30 days of your probationary period, utilizing either the scram or Silverlink methods at the discretion of the probation department. Your license in about the next 7 to 10 days is going to be revoked by the Secretary of State's office. You won't have any driving privileges at all for the first month. Specific condition of your probation is that you not operate a motor vehicle until you obtain a valid operator's license. On the charge of operating while intoxicated, the fine is $500. Court costs are $400. State costs and fees are $125. And there is a $360 oversight fee attached to that term of probation for a total of $1,385. Court file shows you released from the Allegan jail on a $500 PR bond, so all of that is due. You will have the entire time on probation to pay that amount on a monthly payment plan set up through the probation department. Finally, what I'm going to do, hopefully to prevent a third offense and to ensure compliance here, is the following. We'll also impose a jail term of 7 days in the Allegheny County Jail to be served at the 6-month point of probation, subject to review, which means just that, 6 months out from now, you'll either be going to jail for 7 days or the probation department can recommend that that be set aside. Also, I'm required to inform you that pursuant to our new statute that you're entitled to be discharged from probation at the halfway point of probation if all the terms and conditions of your probationary sentence have been completed at that time. So as a legal matter, what I've done, Mr. Van Dam, is to sentence you to 7 days in jail, not imposing it today, giving you a chance essentially to show that that shouldn't be imposed. And in 6 months, your probation officer is going to review this case, and you've got some pretty diverse things that can happen. The worst that can happen is they indicate that there's been problems on probation, most likely being you got caught driving, or you got caught using alcohol, or that you have performed all the terms and conditions of your probation and you have taken care of everything, and you could actually be discharged from probation at that point. So a lot of things can happen, but at this point, Mr. Caldwell can't help you any longer. It is totally up to you. My hope is that you get through this successfully, that the probation department recommends that the jail be set aside, and if you're able to take care of everything else, that the case be all wrapped up then. That would include, though, the payment of any fines and costs if you're able to do that. So again, lots of things can happen at this point, and it's all going to be dependent upon you, depending on what happens within the next 6 months. The probation department is going to call you on the telephone to set up your probation order, so you won't have to drive down here to Allegan for that. What telephone? It may be this afternoon too, because of the hour here. So this afternoon, what telephone number can they reach you at? Okay. I'm going to send the file down to probation. They might be calling you yet before noon. More likely, they'll be calling you this afternoon. They will go over that probation order with you, have you sign it electronically. And again, hopefully this all goes as planned and you can get this all wrapped up in that first 6 months. Good luck to you, Mr. Van Dam. Thank you, Mr. Caldwell.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
So to write it.
This is file 243763 SD, People versus Daniel James Mcneel. Here this morning for a pretrial conference on a citation issued by the Gun Lake Tribal Police on a charge of operating while intoxicated. I have received a pretrial conference sheet, which just indicates you've now decided to plead guilty to that charge. That charge is a misdemeanor charge, carries a maximum penalty of 93 days in jail and a $500 fine. In addition to that, the Secretary of State's office will then assess 6 points against your driving record. In addition to that, they will also suspend your driving privileges, and for the first 30 days of that suspension period, you will have no right to drive for any reason. And Mr. Mcneel, were you aware of all of those things?
Yes.
Knowing all those things, do you still wish to plead guilty to this charge of operating while intoxicated?
Yes, sir.
Go, looks like on the 1st of October of last year, you signed this advice of rights sheet. Before you did you read and understand all those rights?
Yes.
Those are your trial rights. If you plead guilty, you will not have a trial and will give up all those trial rights. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone promised you anything regarding what your sentence will be if you do plead guilty today?
No, they haven't.
I have not agreed on what your sentence will be. Knowing that, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, sir.
Anyone threaten you to force you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Is it your own choice to do this?
Yes.
And finally, as to this charge of operating while intoxicated, are you pleading guilty to this charge because you believe you're guilty of this charge?
Yes.
Again, the case was initiated through a citation written by the Gun Lake Tribal Police, dates back on September 21st of last year at approximately 9:21 p.m. You operated a motor vehicle on 129th Avenue near the Gun Lake Casino, Wayland Township, here in Allegan County. Were you operating a motor vehicle on that date and at that location?
Yes, sir.
Before driving, had you been drinking alcohol?
Yes.
The citation is showing a breath test result in excess of 3 times the legal limit to operate a motor vehicle at a .27. Do you agree with that?
7.24.
Yeah, that was one of the tests. One was 0.24 and one was 0.27. So
Yes.
Based on that, I will find the factual basis. We'll find that your plea is knowing and voluntary. Your plea will be accepted to the charge of operating while intoxicated. On this charge, I am required to have you go through a substance abuse assessment prior to sentencing. I do have some materials here. Verify I've got a driving record here in the file as well. We do have a driving record which just shows your arrest on this case. Assessment has been provided through Pathways up in Martin. And the prosecutor's office has waived their presence at your sentencing. They are recommending a sentence of probation with standard conditions. So with that, Mr. Mcneel, this is your chance to tell me anything you'd like to for sentencing. From reading your assessment, it looks like you are yet another person who has no connection to Allegan County other than being arrested here trying to get home from the casino. Where is Sand Lake?
It is about 25 minutes north of Grand Rapids.
In Kent County or another county?
It is in Kent.
In Kent County. So, okay, you had a ways to try and get home.
Northern
Okay.
Kent. Yep.
Northern Kent. Okay, well, looks like you didn't get more than a few hundred feet away from the casino here. This is your chance to tell me anything you'd like to for sentencing.
basically I just hit a huge jackpot and drank too much, and obviously learned a lot.
Mr. McKeon, on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, as the court indicated, he didn't get very far. In fact, he was pulled over before he actually exited the parking lot. He was getting ready to pull out on the public roadway. Mr. McNeil, he is a project manager for an injection mold company, supervises 6 engineers and numerous other employees. He's maintained that employment most recently for I think about 14 years. He works a lot. He conducts himself in a responsible manner for the most part. This is a huge lapse, and it's completely out of character. As he indicated, he went to the casino, which is a very rare occasion for him, and he won $13,000 on a slot machine, and then began to celebrate. And everyone around him was certainly celebrating on his expense at that point, and he was buying drinks for himself and everyone, and it got away from him. He drank way more than he ever does, and certainly way more than he had anticipated. Then the Gun Lake Casino personnel said he and the group that he was had kind of glommed around him to take advantage of his spending spree. Told him they were getting too loud and told him to leave. So he went out to his car. They watched him go to his car and watched him start his car, pull it out, and pulled him over before he got out of the parking lot, and he went to jail. He has not drank alcohol since then. I believe that Miss Hall's assessment of him is accurate. He's not an individual that presents as having an ongoing issue with alcohol or that typically engages in reckless behavior. Certainly not an excuse that he won $13,000, but I think it puts it into context that this is not the type of behavior that he would typically engage in, and not how he conducts himself in the community. He's embarrassed. He's ashamed of what he did, and he's taken it seriously. Again, he hasn't drank since this occurred, has no intention of drinking at any time in the near future. It's been a very expensive, valuable lesson that he has learned. Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, I was going to say is I would agree it's an expensive lesson, and my guess, Mr. McNeil, this $13,000 that you won is either going to be at least gone, or you may wind up losing money before you're through with all this. So I have to assess fines, costs, and fees. You retain an attorney to represent you. You're going to have to make arrangements to get to and from work for a month because you won't have a driver's license. And the biggest cost for people is not anything that any of us do. It's what insurance companies do when they see you were out driving with a blood alcohol this high. My guess is your insurance premiums are going to, if they don't cancel you outright, are going to go up about, probably close to 50 to 75% for the next 3 to 5 years until you show them that this is a one and done situation. So usually the increased insurance costs are what affects most people the most financially. So yeah, I think unfortunately your $13,000 was a very short little bonus there. And it's, again, if it's not gone now, it soon will be. But I do agree that there's nothing in your background similar to this. Again, you were going to try to get a long way home with a whole lot of alcohol on board. And it's probably good that the tribal police pulled you over right in the parking lot of the casino rather than you getting out, mixing it up with the public, driving on a 70-mile-an-hour freeway on a 131, trying to get all the way up to northern Kent County. On this charge, I am going to place you on probation, and that will be for a period of 6 months. And that will be with substance abuse counseling as directed by the probation department. Standard condition of probation on this charge is you do not possess or consume any alcohol, marijuana, or controlled substances other than those prescribed to you by a medical professional. They will have the authority to check you for that here at the probation department, have you checked by the police at your home. And again, my concern is that you were trying to drive, and did drive a little bit anyway, with a very high blood alcohol level. And given that, I am going to order physical monitoring for the first 30 days of your probationary period, utilizing either the SCRAM or SolarLink methods at the discretion of the probation department. Again, you're going to be losing your driver's license for a period of time, so a specific condition of your probation is that you not operate a motor vehicle until you obtain a valid operator's license, which means any driving for any reason could result in a probation violation and a jail sentence. On the charge of operating while intoxicated, the fine is $500. Court costs are $400. State costs and fees are $125. There is a $180 oversight fee for that term of probation for a total of $1,205. Court file shows you were released from the Allegan jail on a $500 PR bond. So all of that is due, but you will have the entire time on probation to pay that amount on a monthly payment plan set up through the probation department. On this charge, we would also require a victim impact panel. I've reviewed the materials sent to me by Mr. McCune, and you've already done that, so I'll indicate to our probation department you've already completed a victim impact panel. Finally, I am required pursuant to MCL 771.22 to inform you that on your probationary sentence, you have the right to be discharged at the halfway point if all the terms and conditions of your probationary sentence have been completed at that time. So what that means in your case, Mr. McNeil, is you could have this all wrapped up as soon as 3 months from now. And my guess is that's probably what's going to happen given what I've been told today by your attorney. Probation department is going to get the file. We're right at the noon hour here. My guess is they'll be calling you this afternoon sometime. They are going to go over the probation order with you, have you sign it electronically, so you will not have to appear here at the Allegan courthouse to do that. And I'm assuming, again, it's going to be this afternoon. So what telephone number can they reach you at this afternoon? Okay, we are free now to hang out for the court proceeding. We're going to get this file down to the probation department. Be available this afternoon at the number you gave us. They'll be giving you a call at that number to set up your probation order. Good luck to you, sir. Again, my guess is you'll be all done with this in about 12 weeks. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
McKinney.
thank you, sir.